The transport ship landed on New Haven with a heavy thud. Dust clouds rose around the metal craft as its engines powered down. Inside the cargo hold, SCi-Fi Thor kept his massive head low. His golden scales had lost their shine. His wings were folded tight against his back. The dragon was 20 feet long from nose to tail. His kind were known across the galaxy as the best warriors. But SCi-Fi Thor was different now. He was marked as a failure. "Move it, lizard," the guard said. He carried a shock stick. "Your new home awaits." SCi-Fi Thor walked slowly down the ramp. His claws clicked on the metal. The other passengers moved away from him. They whispered to each other. Some pointed at the red mark on his forehead. It was the sign of shame among his people. New Haven was a small colony on a distant planet. The sky was purple instead of blue. 2 suns hung in the air. The buildings were simple and made of metal. About 3,000 humans lived here. They had come to start new lives far from Earth. Commander Jake Phillips waited at the landing pad. He was a tall man with gray hair. His uniform was clean and pressed. He looked at SCi-Fi Thor with cold eyes. "So you're the failed dragon," Phillips said. "I read your file. You let emotions get in the way of duty." SCi-Fi Thor said nothing. He could speak the human language well. But he chose to stay quiet. "You'll work in the waste processing plant," Phillips continued. 12 hours a day. No exceptions. And stay away from the families. We don't need a broken warrior around our children." The dragon nodded once. He followed a worker to his new job. The waste plant was hot and smelly. Machines churned and hissed all day long. It was far from the honor he once knew. Across town, Maya Rodriguez finished her shift at the power station. She was 32 years old with dark hair and tired eyes. Her hands were dirty from fixing machines all day. She worked hard to keep the colony running. Maya walked home through the narrow streets. Her small house sat at the edge of town. It was not much to look at. The walls were thin metal sheets. The roof leaked when it rained. "Mom, you're home," called a voice from inside. Luke Rodriguez ran to the door. He was 8 years old with his mother's dark eyes. But something was wrong with him. His left leg was weak. His hands shook sometimes. The doctors said his brain was sick. There was no cure on New Haven. "How was your day, baby?" Maya asked. She hugged her son tight. "I read about dragons today," Luke said with excitement. "Did you know they can talk with their minds? And they live for hundreds of years." Maya smiled. Luke loved to read. Books were his escape from the pain in his body. "That's nice, sweetheart. What do you want for dinner?" "Can we have the good food tonight?" Luke asked. "The kind that tastes like real meat?" Maya's heart hurt. The good food cost too much. She had to save every credit for Luke's medicine. "How about pasta again?" she said gently. "I'll make it special." Luke's face fell, but he nodded. He understood they did not have much money. After dinner, Maya put Luke to bed early. His medicine made him sleepy. She tucked him in and kissed his forehead. "Mom," Luke whispered, "will I ever get better?" Maya felt tears in her eyes. "The doctors are working on it, baby. Don't worry." But Maya knew the truth. Luke needed treatment that cost more money than she would ever have. The colony's medical center was too small. The real doctors were light years away. Outside in the dark, SCi-Fi Thor walked the empty streets. His shift at the waste plant was over. He had nowhere to go. The colony gave him a small room in the old storage building. It was cold and lonely. The dragon's keen hearing picked up sounds from Maya's house. He heard Luke coughing. He heard Maya crying softly in the kitchen. His telepathic mind could sense their pain and worry. SCi-Fi Thor remembered his old life. He had been bonded to a human warrior named Captain Rick Stone. They fought together in the Great War against the robot armies. For 10 years they were partners. Rick trusted him completely. But in their last battle, everything changed. Rick was hurt badly. Enemy fire had torn through his armor. He was bleeding and could not move. "Leave me, old friend," Rick had said. "Complete the mission." It is the warrior's way. Dragon culture said ZYX Thor should obey. A warrior's honor came first. The mission was more important than one life. That was the ancient law. But ZYX Thor looked at his dying friend and could not do it. He abandoned the mission. He carried Rick to safety instead. Rick lived, but they lost the battle that day. The Dragon Council was furious. ZYX Thor had broken the sacred bond. He put personal feelings above duty. They stripped him of his warrior status. They marked him as a failure and sent him away. Now he was here on New Haven, alone and forgotten. ZYX Thor walked past Maya's house. Through the window, he could see her working at a small table. She was fixing some kind of machine. Her tools were old and worn. She worked by the light of a single lamp. The dragon's heart stirred. He saw something familiar in Maya. She was a fighter, just like Rick had been. But she fought a different kind of battle. She fought for her sick child. The next morning, Maya woke up early. She had to fix the water pumps before her regular shift started. The pumps were old and broke down often. If they failed, the whole colony would have no clean water. She grabbed her tool bag and headed for the door. But something was different. Her small garden looked better. The plants that were dying yesterday now stood straight and green. "That's strange," Maya said to herself. At the pump station, she found another surprise. Someone had already started working on the broken pump. The access panels were open. New parts were laid out in perfect order. Maya looked around. No other engineers were scheduled to work this early. She checked the repair log. Nobody had signed up for overtime. "Hello," she called out. "Is someone here?" Only silence answered her. But the work was real. Someone with great skill had begun fixing the pump. Maya shrugged and got to work. With the head start, she finished the job in half the usual time. This gave her an extra hour at home with Luke before her main shift. It was the first time in months she did not feel rushed and stressed. As Maya left for the power station, she did not see the golden eyes watching from the shadows. ZYX Thor had been there all night. He used his dragon strength to carry heavy parts. His keen mind had figured out the human machines. The dragon told himself he was just practicing his skills. But deep inside, he knew the truth. He wanted to help this human mother. She reminded him of everything good about Rick. Maybe, ZYX Thor thought, there was more than one way to be a warrior. 3 weeks had passed since the mysterious help began. Maya found her work getting easier every day. Broken machines were partly fixed before she arrived. Her small garden grew better than ever before. Someone even left fresh water by her door each morning. Maya was smart. She knew someone was helping her. But who? And why? Luke was having a good day. His medicine was working well. His hands were not shaking as much as usual. Maya took him for a walk around the colony. They went to the market to buy food. "Mom, look." Luke pointed to a large shape behind the supply warehouse. "Is that the dragon?" Maya looked where her son pointed. She saw golden scales gleaming in the sunlight. The creature was huge, much bigger than she expected. It was sorting through metal scraps with careful movements. "Stay close to me," Maya whispered. She had heard the stories. Dragons were dangerous. This one was marked as a failure, which might make him even worse. But Luke was curious. He was not afraid like the other children. Before Maya could stop him, he walked toward the dragon. "Hello," Luke said in his clear, young voice. "I'm Luke. What's your name?" ZYX Thor looked up in surprise. Most humans ran away from him. But this small boy stood there smiling. The dragon recognized him from the house he had been watching. "I am called ZYX Thor," the dragon replied. His voice was deep but gentle. "That's a cool name," Luke said. "Are you really from space?" Maya hurried over. "Luke, come away from there." "It's okay, Mom," Luke said. "He's nice. Look at his eyes. They're kind." Maya stared into the dragon's golden eyes. Luke was right. There was no anger there. Only sadness and loneliness. "You're the one who's been helping me," Maya said suddenly. "The garden, the machines, the water. Zuix Thor looked down. His great head hung low. I meant no harm. I will stop if you wish. No, Maya said quickly. I wanted to thank you. You don't know how much it means. Luke walked closer to the dragon. Why are you sad? He asked. Luke. Maya warned. It's all right, Zuix Thor said. He is young. The young see truth more clearly. The dragon looked at Luke. I am sad because I failed at my purpose. What was your purpose? Luke asked. To be a warrior. To fight alongside humans in battle. But I chose to save my friend instead of completing our mission. My people say I brought shame to our kind. Luke thought about this. But saving someone is good, isn't it? Not according to dragon law, Zuix Thor explained. We are taught that duty comes before all else. Personal feelings make us weak. That's dumb, Luke said simply. My mom saves me every day. That makes her strong, not weak. Maya felt her heart swell with love for her wise little boy. Zuix Thor stared at Luke with wonder. You think saving others makes one strong? Of course, Luke said. Heroes save people. That's what makes them heroes. The dragon looked at Maya. Is this how all humans think? Some of us, Maya replied. We believe love makes us stronger, not weaker. That evening, Maya made a decision. She invited Zuix Thor to eat dinner with them. The dragon was too big to fit inside their small house. So they sat outside in the garden. Maya cooked her best meal. It was still simple food, but she made it with care. Zuix Thor was amazed by the kindness. No one had shared a meal with him in months. Tell me about the stars, Luke asked. What's it like out there? Zuix Thor's eyes lit up. He told stories of distant worlds and space battles. Luke listened with wonder. Maya found herself interested too. Dragons live for 500 years, Zuix Thor explained. We see empires rise and fall. We remember things humans forget. Is that why you're so smart? Luke asked. Perhaps. But humans are smart too, in different ways. Your mother fixes machines I do not understand. And you ask questions that make me think new thoughts. After dinner, Luke showed Zuix Thor his books. The dragon was surprised to learn that humans wrote down their stories and ideas. We dragons remember everything, Zuix Thor said. We do not need books. But books let you share thoughts with people far away, Luke explained. Or people not born yet. Like time travel. Zuix Thor had never thought of it that way. Human writing was not a sign of weakness. It was a way to connect across time and space. As the weeks went by, the three became close friends. Zuix Thor helped Maya with her engineering work. He was incredibly strong and could reach places humans could not. Maya taught him about human machines and how they worked. Luke loved having a dragon friend. Zuix Thor was always gentle with the boy. When Luke's sickness made him tired, the dragon would tell him stories. When Luke's medicine made him feel sick, Zuix Thor would sit quietly beside him. You're like a big brother, Luke told the dragon one day. Zuix Thor felt something warm in his chest. Family. This was what humans called family. Not just blood relations, but beings who chose to care for each other. But not everyone in the colony was happy about their friendship. Commander Phillips heard about Maya's connection to the dragon. He was not pleased. That creature is dangerous, Phillips told Maya one day at work. Failed dragons are unpredictable. You're putting your son at risk. Zuix Thor has never hurt anyone, Maya replied. He helps me every day. Today, maybe. But what happens when his dragon instincts take over? What if he goes wild? Maya looked Phillips in the eye. He's more civilized than some humans I know. Phillips's face turned red. You're making a mistake, Rodriguez. Don't come crying to me when that monster shows his true nature. Other colonists began to whisper too. They saw Maya, Luke, and Zuix Thor together often. Some people were afraid. Others were jealous of the help Maya was getting. It's not fair, one woman complained. Why should she get special treatment from that thing? Dragons are supposed to serve warriors, not fix housewives' problems, a man added. The talk got back to ZYX Thor. The dragon felt the familiar pain of rejection. Maybe Phillips was right. Maybe he was putting Luke and Maya in danger just by being near them. One night, ZYX Thor decided to leave. He would go far from the colony. Maya and Luke would be safer without him. But as he prepared to go, he heard sounds from their house. Luke was having a bad night. His sickness was acting up. He was crying from the pain. Maya was doing her best to comfort him. But she was exhausted. She had worked a double shift to earn extra credits for Luke's medicine. ZYX Thor's heart broke. This family needed him. And he needed them too. They had given him something his own people never had, unconditional love. The dragon made his choice. He would stay. He would protect Luke and Maya, no matter what others said. He would prove that a failed dragon could be exactly what this family needed. That night, ZYX Thor sat guard outside their house. His golden eyes watched the darkness. He listened for any sign of trouble. Inside, Luke slept peacefully for the first time in days. Maya rested knowing their friend was watching over them. The bond between them was growing stronger. Soon, it would be tested in ways none of them could imagine. The first signs of trouble came from deep underground. Maya noticed them during her morning rounds at the power station. The ground vibration sensors showed unusual readings. Small tremors were happening every few hours. Maya studied the data carefully. She had been an engineer for 10 years. She knew how to read the signs. The patterns looked dangerous. "Commander Phillips," she said during the weekly safety meeting, "we need to talk about these seismic readings." Phillips barely looked up from his reports. "What about them?" "The tremors are getting stronger. And they're happening in a pattern. This looks like the planet's core is shifting." "The core?" Phillips laughed. "Rodriguez, you're an engineer, not a geologist. Stick to what you know." Maya felt frustrated. "Sir, I've seen readings like this before. On Mars Colony 7. They ignored the warnings too. 3,000 people died when the ground gave way." "That was different," Phillips said dismissively. "Mars was an old mining planet. This world is stable. The survey teams checked it before we built the colony." "That was 20 years ago," Maya insisted. "Planets change. We need to run new tests." Phillips slammed his hand on the table. "We don't have money for expensive tests every time someone gets nervous. This meeting is over." Maya left feeling angry and worried. She knew she was right. But nobody wanted to listen to her. That evening, she shared her concerns with ZYX Thor. The dragon listened carefully as she explained the data. "Your instincts are correct," ZYX Thor said. "My people have lived on many worlds. I have felt this kind of deep trembling before. It always means danger." "What should we do?" Maya asked. "Phillips won't listen to me." "We prepare," ZYX Thor said simply. "We watch. We protect those we love." Luke was playing with his toy spaceship nearby. "Are we in trouble?" he asked. He was young, but he was smart. He understood more than most adults realized. Maya hugged her son. "We're just being careful, baby. Like wearing a seatbelt in a car." But privately, Maya was very worried. The colony's buildings were not built to handle major ground movement. The power station, the water systems, the medical center, they could all fail if the earth shook too hard. Over the next few days, the tremors got worse. Maya documented every reading. She tried to talk to other engineers, but most of them were too busy with their daily work to pay attention. Only one person listened to her. Dr. Amy Walsh ran the medical center. She was a smart woman who trusted Maya's judgment. "If you're right about this," Dr. Walsh said, "we need to move the critical patients. Some of our equipment won't work if the power goes out." "How many people would that be?" Maya asked. 12 adults on life support, and about 20 children who need special medical machines." Dr. Walsh paused. "Including Luke." Maya felt cold fear in her stomach. Luke's condition required constant monitoring. If the medical center lost power, he could die. That night, Maya worked late trying to find solutions. She drew up plans for backup power systems. She calculated how long the emergency generators would last. None of the numbers looked good. ZWX Thor found her at the kitchen table, surrounded by papers and worried thoughts. "You cannot fix everything alone," the dragon said gently. "Perhaps it is time to ask for help." "Who would help us?" Maya asked. "Phillips thinks I'm crazy. The other colonists barely trust me because I'm friends with a failed dragon." "There are others who see truth," ZWX Thor said. "The medical doctor believes you. Some of the younger engineers have questions too. And the maintenance workers feel the ground shaking every day." Maya realized he was right. She had been so focused on convincing the leadership, she forgot about regular people. Maybe she could build support from the bottom up. The next day, Maya started talking to individual workers. She showed them the seismic data. She explained what the readings meant in simple terms. "See this pattern," she said to Ben Carter, who ran the water treatment plant. "These spikes mean the ground is moving. If it gets worse, your pipes could break." Ben studied the charts. "What do you think we should do?" "We need to check all the critical systems. Identify the weak points. Have repair supplies ready. And we need backup plans if the main systems fail." Word spread quietly through the colony. Workers started paying attention to the ground beneath their feet. They noticed things they had missed before. Cracks in walls. Doors that did not close right. Equipment that shook more than usual. Meanwhile, Luke's condition was getting worse. The stress of the situation was affecting Maya, and Luke could sense her worry. His medicine was not working as well. He had more bad days than good ones. ZWX Thor spent more time at the medical center, watching over Luke when Maya had to work. Dr. Walsh was amazed by the dragon's gentle care. "He's better with sick children than most trained nurses," she told Maya. "Luke is calmer when ZWX Thor is here." But Commander Phillips was not happy about the dragon's presence at the medical center. "That thing does not belong around sick people," he told Dr. Walsh. "What if it carries diseases? What if it hurts someone?" "ZWX Thor has been nothing but helpful," Dr. Walsh replied. "The children love him. And his telepathic abilities actually help me monitor their conditions." "Telepathy?" Phillips looked alarmed. "It's reading people's minds." "He can sense pain and distress," Dr. Walsh explained. "It's like having an extra medical sensor. He saved 2 lives this week by alerting me to problems before our machines detected them." Phillips was not convinced. "I want that creature gone." "That's an order." Dr. Walsh stood her ground. "This is my medical facility. I decide who can help my patients. And right now, ZWX Thor is one of my best assistants." The argument created more tension in the colony. People began taking sides. Some supported Maya and her dragon friend. Others backed Commander Phillips and wanted the dragon gone. In the middle of all this conflict, the ground kept shaking. The tremors were now strong enough that everyone could feel them. Equipment rattled. Lights flickered. Children cried when the ground moved under their feet. Maya worked desperately to prepare emergency systems. She and her small group of supporters gathered supplies. They identified safe buildings. They planned evacuation routes. But they were running out of time. One morning, Maya woke to find ZWX Thor standing outside her house. His golden eyes were wide with alarm. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. "I can feel it in the deep places," the dragon said. "The planet's heart is changing. The great movement comes soon. Perhaps today." Maya felt her blood turn cold. "How soon?" "Hours, not days." Maya ran inside and started packing emergency supplies. She woke Luke gently. "We need to go to the medical center right now," she told her son. "It's time for that adventure we talked about." Luke was scared, but he trusted his mother. He put on his clothes quickly. As they left the house, the ground shook harder than ever before. Somewhere in the distance, they heard the sound of metal breaking. The crisis Maya had warned about was finally beginning. Soon, everyone would learn the true meaning of courage. And a failed dragon would get his chance to prove what real honor looked like. The great earthquake hit New Haven at exactly 10:47 in the morning. Maya was at the medical center with Luke when the first massive tremor struck. The building shook like a toy in a giant's hands. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the colony. Outside, people ran in panic as buildings swayed and cracked. The ground split open in long, jagged lines. Water pipes burst, sending geysers shooting into the purple sky. At the power station, the main reactor automatically shut down to prevent disaster. But that meant the colony lost all electricity. The lights went out. The air recycling systems stopped working. Life support machines in the medical center switched to battery power. How long do the batteries last? Maya asked Dr. Walsh as they helped patients stay calm. 4 hours for most equipment, the doctor replied. Less for the critical care machines. Maya felt sick. Luke was connected to one of those critical machines. It monitored his brain activity and delivered his medicine automatically. Without it, he would be in serious danger. Through the medical center windows, they could see the chaos outside. Several buildings had collapsed completely. The main communication tower was down. The colony was cut off from the outside universe. Commander Phillips's voice came over the emergency radio system, powered by the backup generator. All citizens report to the landing pad immediately, his voice crackled through static. We are beginning emergency evacuation procedures. Bring only essential items. Maya grabbed the radio. Commander, this is Maya Rodriguez. We have critical patients who cannot be moved. We need power restored to the medical center. Negative, Phillips responded. The power station is too damaged. All personnel report for evacuation. That's an order. Dr. Walsh took the radio from Maya. Commander, I have 23 patients who will die if we move them. And the evacuation ships can't carry medical life support equipment. The ships have limited space, Phillips replied coldly. We save who we can. Medical personnel are ordered to report to the landing pad now. Maya stared at the radio in disbelief. Phillips was abandoning the sick and injured. He was saving himself and the healthy colonists first. I'm not leaving, Dr. Walsh said firmly. These people are my responsibility. Neither am I, Maya agreed. She looked at Luke, connected to his monitoring machine. We stay together. Outside, they could hear SCi-Fi Thor's roar echoing across the damaged colony. The dragon was somewhere in the chaos, probably helping with rescue work. More tremors shook the building. Ceiling tiles fell to the floor. The backup generator coughed and sputtered. If it failed, all the remaining power would be gone. Maya, Dr. Walsh said quietly, I need to tell you something. Luke's condition is getting worse. The stress of all this is affecting his brain chemistry. Even with the machine, I don't know how long. She did not need to finish. Maya understood. Her son was dying, and there was nothing anyone could do without proper medical equipment. Suddenly, the medical center doors burst open. SCi-Fi Thor squeezed his massive body through the entrance, his golden scales covered in dust and debris. The evacuation ships are leaving, the dragon announced. Commander Phillips is taking the first group. He says more ships will come back for the rest. Will they? Maya asked. SCi-Fi Thor's silence was answer enough. His telepathic abilities let him sense what Phillips was really thinking. The commander had no intention of coming back for the sick and injured. What about the power station? Dr. Walsh asked. Can it be repaired? The main reactor is undamaged, SCi-Fi Thor reported. But the control systems are destroyed. The cooling pumps are offline. The backup generators are failing one by one. Maya felt a spark of hope. What if we could bypass the damaged controls? Run the reactor manually. Too dangerous, Dr. Walsh said. You'd have to stay in the reactor room. The radiation exposure would kill you in hours. But Maya's mind was racing. She was an engineer. She understood how the power systems worked. And she had an idea. SCi-Fi Thor, she said, how resistant are dragons to radiation? The dragon's golden eyes widened. Much more than humans. We evolved on worlds with harsh environments. But even we have limits. How long could you survive in the reactor room? Perhaps a day. Maybe longer. Why do you ask? Maya explained her plan. The power station could be operated manually, but it needed constant monitoring. Someone had to adjust the controls every few minutes to keep the reactor stable. A human could not survive long enough to make it work. But a dragon could. You want me to sacrifice myself to save the colony, HFY Thor said slowly. I want you to do what you do best, Maya replied. Protect people. Save lives. Be the hero you were always meant to be. HFY Thor looked around the medical center. He saw Luke struggling to breathe. He saw other children connected to machines that were slowly losing power. He saw Dr. Walsh desperately trying to keep everyone alive with failing equipment. If I do this, the dragon said, I may not survive. Is saving these people worth my life? Maya met his golden gaze. Only you can answer that. HFY Thor was quiet for a long moment. He thought about his old life as a warrior. He remembered the shame of being called a failure. He thought about the past few months with Maya and Luke. He had found something here he never had before, a real family. My dragon elders taught me that honor comes from following orders, HFY Thor said finally. But you humans have taught me something different. True honor comes from choosing to protect those you love. The dragon turned to Luke, who was watching with wide, frightened eyes. Little friend, HFY Thor said gently, will you be brave while I go help the other people? Luke nodded, though tears ran down his cheeks. Will you come back? I will try, the dragon promised. But if I cannot, remember this, you taught me what it means to be truly strong. Not through fighting, but through caring. Maya hugged HFY Thor's great head. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. The dragon squeezed carefully through the medical center doors and headed toward the damaged power station. Behind him, another tremor shook the colony. Time was running out for everyone. But in the distance, the first evacuation ship was lifting off. Commander Phillips and his chosen group were abandoning New Haven, leaving hundreds of people behind. It was up to a failed dragon to save them all. As HFY Thor reached the power station, he could feel the dangerous energy radiating from the damaged reactor. This would indeed be his greatest test. Not as a warrior in battle, but as a guardian protecting the innocent. He thought of Luke's words, heroes save people. That's what makes them heroes. Perhaps, the dragon thought as he entered the deadly reactor room, it was time to become a true hero.